Welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. We are at part 2 of Niles Canyon Road. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. A February 24th, 1950 Township Register article repeats the tale of the ghost with a new twist. This year, they sent out a photographer to see if they could catch a glimpse of this ghost. As the photographer was on Niles Canyon, they didn't see anything until they developed the pictures. You see, we live in an era where the pictures we take on our phone can be seen immediately. Back then, when the photograph was captured on a roll of film that would require developing, meaning usually in a red light room with chemicals to produce a printed version of the photograph. The Township Register's photographer developed the film, and what they discovered was a woman in a white robe looking up at the sky with her arms held up. A January 5th, 1951 Township Register article says that an unidentified man was struck by a truck on Niles Canyon Road. The driver of the truck, named Ernest Perry, said that the 60-year-old mystery man deliberately ran from the side of the road into the path of his truck. A March 30th, 1951 Township Register article reports a woman named Rosa Melendrez died after falling out of a car on Niles Canyon Road. Rosa was survived by her children, Consuelo Ojeda, Matias Ramas, and brothers Alfonso and Damasio Melendrez. The man driving the car, Gabriel Hernandez, told the police that Rosa leaned against the car door and fell on the side of the road. He was held for questioning and then released. No charges were filed. A June 29, 1951 Township Register article reported a 65-year-old man named Joseph Felipe Cardenas died in a San Jose hospital from an injury sustained when a car being driven by a 52-year-old named Lloyd Gordon struck his bicycle on Niles Canyon Road. Lloyd told authorities that Joseph swerved his bicycle to avoid hitting a dog. Joseph died from a skull fracture and broken leg. He was a widow of Matilda Cardenas and survived by his children Henry Cardenas, Joseph Cardenas Jr., Tiki Lopez, Margaret Rodriguez, Lupe Rodarte, Catherine Marin, and Thomas Cardenas. A March 4th, 1954 Township Register article reported that a 42-year-old man named Theodore Duckworth crashed into a tree on Niles Canyon Road and died. A February 10, 1957 Oakland Tribune article reported a 61-year-old man named Frank Tariso died from a car crash on Niles Canyon Road. He was walking home from his restaurant job when a car being driven by 49-year-old Robert Lee Bittick struck him and threw him more than 100 feet, and he died instantly. A December 3rd, 1983 article reported that 3 kids took 14-year-old Kelly Jean Poppleton on a ride along Niles Canyon Road where they beat and strangled her to death. Julian told the press, and I quote, Julian Ramirez told the press, and I quote, "I got a bum rap. I am a known hoodlum in the neighborhood." Julian was arrested 4 years prior on burglary charges, and a December 15, 1983 Napa Valley Register newspaper mentioned that a 13-year-old girl named Trina Bentz was facing murder charges along with Julian Ramirez. Another 13-year-old girl was questioned but not charged. The 17-year-old boy named Julian Ramirez was also held for questioning and later released. A December 6, 1984 Oakland Tribune article reported that a 43-year-old man named James Anthony Dinatelli was charged with voluntary manslaughter for killing his ex-girlfriend, 36-year-old Linda Sharon Vitale, who was also known as Linda Brown. He accepted a plea bargain and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. His excuse was that he was suicidal and suffered seizures and was upset about a breakup and struck Linda with a pipe on Niles Canyon Road. On Thanksgiving Day in 1985 at 4 p.m., hikers found the body of a 25-year-old man on Niles Canyon Road. Police said the man had been shot. The man was not able to be identified. He was only described as a black male, 5 feet 9 inches tall, about 145 pounds, black hair with a mustache and a small goatee, brown eyes, between 25 and 30 years old. In August 27th of 1986, the Oakland Tribune reported a woman who was not identified died of a car crash on Niles Canyon Road. The woman was in her 30s, and a witness who was driving behind her stated that the woman was swerving all over the road all the way from Mission Boulevard until she swerved into the oncoming lane and hit a truck. This caused several cars to swerve, and one even caught on fire. CHP found syringe needles, pills, and an unidentified liquid in the woman's car. A March 20th, 1990 San Francisco Chronicle article reported that a man was found wrapped in blankets. The body was found of a young boy who was taking a walk. The body was found by a young boy who was taking a walk with his family. Authorities reported he was killed by a blow to the head with a blunt object. He was wearing Wrangler jeans and a green shirt that said, "Don't worry, be happy," green socks, and a black baseball cap. He was described as a black male in his 20s or 30s who was 5 feet 6 inches tall, 150 pounds. He had a mustache and long hair. On April 21st, 1990, the Mercury News identified the man to be 45-year-old Robert Orlando Bell Jr., an Oakland pastor. He was an associate pastor for the New Hope Baptist Church in Oakland. At first, authorities believed he was a victim of robbery, but 3 former roommates of this preacher were arrested on suspicion of murder. They allegedly killed him because he was late on his rent. 20-year-old James Allen Hampton, 20-year-old Steve Edward O'Day, and 30-year-old David Joseph Zubkoff. These 3 amigos killed Robert at their Maybell Avenue apartment in Oakland. They also wrapped his body in plastic bags and dumped it on Niles Canyon. The coroner reported that Robert had died of multiple injuries from an unknown weapon. The 3 amigos complained to police about how Robert would leave for extended periods of time, to spread the good word of God, and come back and demand re-entry to the apartment, which is no excuse for murdering someone. On November 21st, 1991, Mercury News article reported that federal law enforcement was investigating a fatal plane crash that had occurred at about 9 a.m. on Tuesday in Union City and crashed into Niles Canyon Road and burned down. Jim Wall with the National Transportation Safety Board reported they found no evidence of mechanical failure. The 2 pilots on the plane were flying back after dropping off a plane at the San Jose Reed Hillview Airport, and they unfortunately passed away. A February 19, 1992 San Francisco Chronicle article reported that the body of a woman was found on Niles Canyon Road. Authorities believed her body had been at the creek for 5 to 10 days. She had stab wounds and other injuries. She was unidentified. Police asked the public for help to reveal her identity. She was described as a white woman in her late teens, early 20s, 5'1", 110 pounds, blonde hair. She was wearing a black button-down jeans, high-top British Knight tennis shoes, and her body was found floating along the creek by a San Francisco Water District employee.